Spider-Man 2 is Insomniac's biggest project to date, with the hype train chugging along at a rapid pace. I'm kind of surprised we haven't heard more about it from the developer directly. The 2018 game, a massive success. The mini-sequel starring Miles Morales, nice evolution of the gameplay, while also telling a little darker, smaller scale story. Well, today we have updates. We have juicy information about the most anticipated Marvel video game, maybe, of all time. Spider-Man 2 was revealed roughly 2 years ago, and since then we've got next to nothing in terms of direct information, but the game's cast has been the one slowly leaking information out to the public, and we actually have a pretty solid idea of what to expect from Spider-Man this year. So in this video, welcome to the page everybody, Chaos here. I'm going to go over absolutely everything that we know about this game. Now keep in mind, most of this could be subject to change, but I'm about 99% sure that everything here is correct, unless stated otherwise. So you let me know in the comments. Are you excited? Do you have it pre-ordered, or are you going to pre-order it? And how good do you think Spider-Man 2 is going to be? Drop a like, make sure you have those notifications turned on. And here's everything. Venom and Kraven the Hunter are the main villains, but Green Goblin is likely going to show up as well, since he was teased so heavily in the last game. Now, the question everybody wants to know, or the question that's being asked, what is his role going to be? And I have a prediction here. I think Venom, obviously Venom is going to be the big bad here. I think Kraven the Hunter will play a major role as well. I don't think we're going to have as many villains as we had in the original 2018 versions. We just had villains galore. But I do think Green Goblin's going to play a role, but I don't think they're going to kind of shoot him off completely, because he is a game in his own right. And he could also end up being the leader of the Sinister Six if they go that route down the road, whether it be for Miles or Peter again. And I just think he's going to be kind of an antagonist in the background, making little cameos, little appearances. I don't think he is going to be a primary villain, and I think that reasoning is because they're going to save him for the next Spider-Man. They're already talking about this being its own universe, its own franchise, and they are very well on their way to do that. Now, Venom voice actor Tony Todd, this guy's like an insider, he just doesn't know it. He confirmed the game is dropping in September, and the marketing campaign will kick into high gear in August, which that seems a little late to me. I mean, you want to tease it, you want to build it up, but I feel like that marketing campaign should be somewhere 4 months within of when the game is actually going to be launched. To kick it into high gear 1 month before the game comes out, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a marketing guru, so I'm sure they know what they're doing, and they also know that this game is going to sell itself. Now, some trailers and teasers will likely be coming before that, but the commercials will actually start in August. Now, let's talk about Spider-Man 2 and Starfield. These two games, these two massive juggernauts, are going head-to-head. Now, there have been really good video games in the past that failed because they tried to launch next to another AAA title that just absolutely decimated them, or just tuned them out, drowned them out, where you didn't even know the game was coming, or you didn't even have time to go play the game because you were focused on the other one. I can think of a couple times when Battlefield got put in this. I can think of 2 Titanfall games that were amazing games, but they never had a chance because they were sandwiched in between 2 juggernaut FPS games. So, Spider-Man 2 and Starfield, should we be worried? No, we should not. And here's why. Because Spidey is exclusive to PS5. Starfield is exclusive to Xbox and PC. So actually, as a gamer, you can get excited. September is going to be absolutely nutty, and I don't think either one of them is going to kind of eat the other one. Now, Starfield, who knows what we're getting? I mean, it's been anticipated and hyped, and we've seen this in the past, and a lot of times they flop. So we'll have to see. I don't see any which way that Spider-Man 2 flops at all. Now let's talk about the actual game, the tone. It's going to be darker. It's going to be more visceral and gritty than the previous game. Think of it as an Empire Strikes Back kind of sequel in the Spider-Man universe. Same style, more mature, higher stakes, which is what you want from Spider-Man. You want that for Peter. You want that for Miles. That's what makes everybody connect to them, because they're just some guys trying to get by and help on the ground level of what they're doing. Now, Insomniac have stated the villains will be actively hunting the heroes down this time, which that's a bit of a role reversal from the first game because Peter kind of went after the villains instead of going out trying to thwart the villains in progress, which is kind of what naturally happens. The villains are going to be the aggressors. They're going to have the aggro, and Spider-Man, both of them are going to be the prey, which I absolutely love the fact that they're going to flip this. So, PS5 exclusive, like I said, but no PS4 version. I'm sorry, if you're still on a PS4 and you don't have a PS5, you are not going to be able to play this game. Now, PC port more or less confirmed. I mean, it's coming likely probably a year after the PS5 launch. Now let's talk about the capabilities of the console. What kind of game could we expect with this? Well, Insomniac says the game will push the capabilities of the console. So you should expect a massive jump in graphics and performance from the previous Spider-Man game, since those were all cross-gen. This is not. This is the first truly next-gen Spider-Man game, which, if just saying those words, it's exciting. Spider-Man 2's creative team is the same one from the original version. Ryan Smith is the game director. Brian Inether is the creative director. And these two also worked on Sunset Overdrive. And I'm going to keep bringing up the game until people give it appreciation it deserves. I've talked about Sunset Overdrive in the past. Go give it a try. Let's also talk about the people coming back to play Peter and Miles. Najee Jeter is coming back, and Yuri Lowenthal is coming back respectively as well. So we're keeping that continuity. Now, the Spider-Man Miles Morales team is not working on Spider-Man 2. Instead, they're working on Wolverine. So Spider-Man 2's development team is basically a Spider-Man 2018 reunion, which I am absolutely okay with. And I love the fact that the Miles Morales team is actually working on the Wolverine game, which is going to be just as big. Both Peter and Miles will be playable. Peter is likely going to be the main character in the story, but they'll probably share the spotlight much more than they did in the first game. Or maybe they'll have it equal. I don't know. Scott Porter, who played Harry Osborn in the first game, is not going to be in the Spider-Man 2 game. He explained in a tweet that Insomniac is going to photo reel with the character models for Spider-Man 2, and the actor simply didn't look close enough to Harry Osborn's in-game design, so they gave him the boot. That sucks. I mean, Harry will be in the game, he'll play a major role, but his voice is going to sound a little different. Now, let's talk about the Sinister Six. They may make an appearance since the lineup will allegedly be complete after the end of the game, but a true Sinister Six team-up probably won't happen until Spider-Man 3, hence my prediction of Green Goblin being involved in this game, but not on a major level. Why would you do that when you can save that for an entire another game to equal out the trilogy? Now, let's talk about a 4chan leak. I know 4chan, take it with your big fat grain of salt. It said one of the villains will be Sin Eater, who is a very, very deep-cut villain from the comics. The 2018 Spider-Man game had Mr. Negative as a main villain, which I think is awesome. He was also a super deep-cut character, so maybe Insomniac may want to carry on the tradition. Maybe they want to revive the long-forgotten comic villains in the sequel. If that's the case, Sin Eater may actually show up, may actually play a role in Venom's arc. Spider-Cat from Miles Morales is allegedly returning, which I think would be great, and the Lizard is rumored to be appearing since Kurt Connors showed up in Spider-Man Miles Morales. Now, with this game focusing more on the scary side of Spidey villains, I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Lizard shows up. Now, the Insomniac team has stated recently they're working on a super innovative dialogue system, although it's unclear what that is. Some have speculated this will make the dialogue more adaptive to the player's location on the map, while others suggest it will be like a dialogue system in the Dead Space remake where the character's voices changes depending on their physical state. Either way, I think it's going to be cool, especially since it's a darker tone game. There is also a fan theory out there that Venom could be playable similar to the Ultimate Spider-Man game from the PS2 era. If you ever played that, let me know in the comments. Some have suggested that Peter's black suit will present some kind of morality system similar to Spider-Man Web of Shadows. And I know we're kind of getting off the deep end here, but we're going to go over everything, like I said. Now, Venom is confirmed to be one of the main villains, but we don't actually know if Spidey's black suit will be part of the story. Now, it's safe to assume that it will be, since you usually don't have Venom without Spider-Man getting the black suit first, but it's also possible that Insomniac will use the Venom movies as inspiration to make the characters totally distinct from one another. We're going to have to wait and see on this one. We're going to have to wait and see just how much the symbiote is going to impact the story. Now, let's talk about the PlayStation. It's allegedly hosting a first-party developer showcase this spring around the time of E3, RIP E3, which has been canceled. It's very likely this is where we'll see a new trailer and possibly our first bits of gameplay, since this is Sony's only major first-party release of 2023. It seems like Sony is sitting on trailers and gameplay a lot longer than they used to. I mean, so they can make their marketing campaign shorter, more aggressive, like we talked about in the beginning. A month for ramped-up marketing, that's different, but Like I said, also, Spider-Man 2 will probably sell itself. Now let's talk about something that everybody's been interested in, the multiplayer mode. Possibly confirmed, unfinished multiplayer modes were found in the PC files of the Spider-Man remastered version, so it's very possible that Insomniac was using that as a playground, a testing ground for this game. One player controls Peter, the other controls Miles. You compete against each other for high scores and time challenges. We'll see what happens. Now, what's interesting is there won't be a co-op in this game. Despite rumors that Peter and Miles will both be playable at the same time during the campaign, which would be awesome, Insomniac confirmed themselves that the story will be a single-player story. You'll swap perspectives between Peter and Miles throughout the game, but there will not be any co-op of any kind during the story. It would be cool, though, if we swap perspectives with Venom, too. Again, it's possible there'll be a multiplayer mode, but it's going to be disconnected from the story. Now let's end this up. Suits. Spider-Man suits. You already know. There's going to be a ton of them to collect, just like in the first game. We're not sure just how many suits there are, how many of the first game suits will return, but Insomniac have confirmed suit collecting is back. Tell me, how many suits do you think will be in the game? 20, 30, 40? Give me your best guess in the comment section. And Insomniac Spider-Man does appear in Across the Spider-Verse, so the Insomniac Spider-Verse is now canon to the Sony Spider-Verse. And if Tom Holland does end up in Across the Spider-Verse like we're hearing, wouldn't that kind of make them also canon in the MCU, right? Not just the Spider-Verse? I mean, we'll see. It's possible that Insomniac's universe is connected to the MCU in some loose way like that, but I don't think that's going to impact this story at all. It's just likely going to be an internet theory fueled up thing that's fun for us to talk about. There you have it, my friends. Are you playing day one? Are you excited? What are you expecting from this game? I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon.